Hey, good evening, champion parents, and welcome to Mommy Talk, where we discuss all parenting topics that are real, relatable, and right on time. Ladies, what's the topics we discuss? Real, relatable, and right on time. That's right. Come talk to us, Dr. Pert, Miss Lisa, and Miss April this evening at 313-837-1340. Again, callers, you can reach us at 313-837-1340. Today we will discuss raising children while maintaining a demanding career and following your dreams. All this can be done while you are raising your children. We have a special guest in the building. Woo-woo! We have Detroit native Central State University alumni.
Say that part again.
I'll say it again. Central State University alumni Tracy E. Christian, author, poet, radio personality, and motivational speaker. She has worked tirelessly in both the arts and education arenas in and throughout metropolitan Detroit. After several years of teaching, children's fair coordinator for the Detroit Festival of the Arts, Mosaic Youth Theater, and Girl Scouts of Metropolitan Detroit. As station manager at www.7mileradio.com. I'm going to say that again because I like that. www.7mileradio.com. Tracy, a.k.a. T. Elise, produces and hosts a weekly radio show back on the B-side, 11 a.m. Saturdays, catering to lovers of R&B, classic and neo-soul, contemporary jazz, and progressive hip-hop, all while inviting, interviewing, and exposing creative artists as guest show hosts. Currently, Tracy has produced and narrated 8 audiobooks, including 7 fellow authors, that is nice, and one of her own. We invite you to join in on the discussion on Mommy Talk Mondays at 7:30 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time by tuning in to WCHB 1340 AM. Callers, again, you can reach us at 313-837-1340. What's up, Miss T. Elise?
What's up, ladies? Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
We know as a parent, the demands of raising children and holding down a household, it's not easy.
Oh, no.
It can be very challenging.
Mm-hmm. Very, very challenging. And oftentimes you might have to take just a slight step back from your activities and kind of juggle and see what works best. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I found over my trials, because at first I didn't know where to start. So once I finally got started and got going, you get a nice momentum going, but then you got to check back in because you realize that, your kids might need you, So it's an ongoing struggle.
Yeah, I get that. How many children do you have?
Actually, living in the home with us, we have one daughter, and then we have a son that lives independently on his own.
I see you smiling at that one.
always.
That's good. So you sound like a champion parent. You raised a child that's independent, and I think that's the goal. As a champion parent, we all want our children to be successful.
Yep, absolutely.
That's very important. And one of the things that you said was very important, I think that stood out to me, and I hope our listeners heard you. Mm-hmm. You have to juggle and do what works best for you.
You do.
Because a lot of times, you can hear people, they can give you advice and what works for them. But like you said, it's very important to step back and find out what works for you.
Absolutely. And you know what? And that comes in what I found interesting in this whole entertainment game. And I still haven't mastered it. I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. But that it's a revolving door. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that, you could work really, really hard with someone for about 4 or 5 years working on a project. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, then you guys become close, you develop a rapport, and then when the project is over, everybody goes to their different avenues of
That's
entertainment. They go on to the next project, you know.
Correct.
And so I use those times as my times to check back in with family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as soon as I finish a project, before I start a project, we have to have like a debriefing, so to speak, you know, a family meeting. Like, okay, this is what is on the agenda for the next few weeks. This is the time that it's going to take me away from you guys, how you normally have me. You know what I'm saying? And we could talk about it and make everybody aware so we can all be on the same page, you know.
And that's
So-
nice because the bottom line, you're talking about communication.
Yeah.
And I think that is the basis of a good functioning household, making sure that we communicate.
Yeah, you know, because things change. You know, schedules change. Like, you know, interviews like this don't always necessarily fit with your traditional schedule. So it may take you away from home. Like right now, my daughter is doing a show on my network, and I can't participate with her because I'm here with you guys. You know what I'm saying? So now she got to run it. But that's what her degree is for. She's CSU alum too. So
Yeah. Hey, Imani.
yeah, so, you know, we made it happen, but I would have never been able to make it work without the support of my family. My mother, my husband, my daughter, those are my champions, you know. So when I get down on myself or when I'm totally incapacitated, like as of recently, I had been off the air for 6 months, so sick. And so they took care of me. The house fell apart, the whole nine. And so we had to work to get me back to the capacity where I can run my household again, and they helped me through all of that. And it's the same thing with the business, you know, from the very beginning.
I just have to add, Ms. Tracy, you know, sometimes when people are on the outside looking in, and I'm just now seeing bits and pieces of you, your illness and everything. But sometimes when people are on the outside looking in, you never know what a person is going through, because every time I see you, you're always shining and you know, very positive, encouraging, motivating. You know, but sometimes you don't see what people are going through when, you know, on the outside looking in.
Sometimes we get so busy. You know, last year was my daughter's graduating senior year, so all I could think about was trying to make that as stressless as possible for her. And
Champion parent.
You know, I just was like, I don't want her to have to worry about nothing. Just pass these finals, and let's get us to May 2nd. And in that effort, I stopped paying attention to the signs that my body was giving me. So I can't say that this sickness came down on me all at once. It was a gradual process, and because my original primary care doctors didn't make a big deal about it, neither did I.
Okay.
Until the symptoms kept compounding, and to the point where my body was about to shut down.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And I was really, really down on myself for letting it get that bad, you know, but just trying to do the right thing and, like you say, be the champion parent, be everything that you think your child needs for this next phase, which is so important, you know. That's how it kind of happened. And one thing about it, when a sickness comes down on you, you can only ignore it for so long. And then, you know, just, you know, the support and everything that comes behind being diagnosed. Guys, I was diagnosed with systemic lupus. And it's no joke. I had to change my lifestyle. My family changed their lifestyle. Now we're all working more toward an autoimmune diet. And it's kind of helping us to take care of my mom because she has rheumatoid arthritis, which is inflammatory muscles in her knees. So, you know, the autoimmune diet is helping her too. But again, that's that family support. We all had to sit down. We had to talk, cried together. They fussed at me because I was in denial for a minute. You know, the whole nine. I'm like, I'm too young. I'm too cute. But yeah, so, you know, I had to get my whole life together. But again, had I not had them, I don't know how I would have got through it.
So I have a question. Autoimmune diet for those that are listening. What is that?
The premise of it really is taking in a diet that is fully equipped with foods that are going to help rebuild your immune system.
Okay.
You know, so I have like 3 books on it. You know, to Dr. Sebi. You know, he's the truth. You got to live with him.
Yes,
you know, and then it's another book that I have that has a whole bunch of recipes because I was a picky eater.
Yeah.
As an unhealthy person. So, you know, it's only so much sweet potato I can do, you know, but it is very good for inflammation in your muscles. So, you know, sweet potato sensations are my friends.
Okay.
You know, but
I like them too.
You know, just different things that I'm trying, you know, different products, even down to the sugar. Like I haven't had white sugar in about a year because I had taken that out of my diet before I actually got sick. So, you know, it's been about a year since I had that, and I could definitely tell the difference. You know, today I had my first homemade smoothie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
While I was on the air earlier, so, you know, that was cool. You know,
So-
one thing about the smoothies, though, guys, when you do those, if you don't already know, if you put a little spinach in it, don't let it sit. Go ahead and drink it down. Otherwise, if you let it sit, the ingredients will kind of separate, and then the vegetable will kind of overpower the fruit. But it was doable enough to get through it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man, you get sick enough, you'll be
You'll
surprised
try
what
it.
you'll open up to.
And you know what? And it's actually good because I like spinach and kale in my smoothies. And it's funny because sometimes I take my stuff to work and my students will be like, "Ooh, Miss
what
Karen,
is
what
that?"
is that?" You know. But I always try to tell them, you know, I think of leaves. Leaves don't really have a taste.
Right,
You know,
right,
kale
right.
is strong.
Yeah.
But when you got the strawberries and the bananas
And
it
the
kinda
mango
overpower-
and-
the mango, yes,
Yep,
pineapples, all that stuff.
Don't you put
overpower.
jackfruit in your smoothie?
I haven't, and I know that's like a hater jab, but I haven't in a while. I really like jackfruit.
She
but
do. She was like, She was like,
I love it. Oh my god.
She told me that I'm gonna slice the jackfruit up real skinny and slim for you so you can eat it as bacon. I was like, I'm not eating that.
No, that wasn't the jackfruit. That was the eggplant.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
eggplant.
okay.
Because
yeah.
you put like what is it? Liquid smoke.
Okay.
And then you slice it really thin, put it in a. Now it doesn't
And it-
taste like bacon,
but it gives you
it's
that-
a nice little.
It may be
something
good,
to it,
but-
yeah. I had people tearing it up at my house. They were hating, dogging it.
I know.
They
I
was
was
tearing it up.
number one hater. But,
Yes.
I did want to ask you about your books. Can your
Sure.
books be found on Amazon?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I love Amazon.
One of the things, yes, when you said that, I started laughing. I said, because they stay at my house too,
Oh, my
girl.
God.
That
Amazon
prime is
needs
off
to
the
be
chain.
listening. They need to pay Miss April because April been advocating for them.
Always deliver to my house.
The first three of my books was they're called The Black College Sabbatical, and it chronicles four girls their first year at a HBCU. Now, all four of these girls didn't know each other beforehand, and so there's a guardian angel that introduces himself at the beginning of the book. And he's like the reader's reading companion. And he challenges the reader that over the course of this series, it's your job to figure out who I'm here to protect. Because everything one girl goes through affects the other three. You know, so that's kind of the continuing little edge to that. But you chronicle them through all of their trials and triumphs.
That sounds very interesting,
through the
and
first
I
semester.
like how you said the reader's companion.
Yeah, because you know how you read a good book and it get good, and you be wishing you had somebody to just sit there and talk to about it. You know what I mean? So you can't. I mean, you know, if somebody caught you talking to the guardian angel in the book, they probably think you were crazy. But nonetheless, the guardian angel just gives you an extra chapter of banter throughout the book. That kind of helps, bring all the storylines together. Because, of course, one character's storyline may be more prevalent at a particular time. So, the angel, and the angel is like a homegirl. The angel is like, wow, y'all, did y'all see that? I didn't see that coming. Oh, wow. So
like
it's not
that.
too heavy. And then my fourth book is Toast to the Fool. Because by then, I started to understand branding. And I love music. So I was like, now how do I pull this music into this writing thing? And so that's the way I do it now. I name all of my books based on R&B. So Toast to the Fool is a song from the Dramatics because, I'm
Got
from
it.
Detroit. So, but it really does. We all have played the fool at some part in our life. And all five of the characters in that particular book, that's a standalone book. All five of them, when you meet them, they're in the middle of the stupidest stuff you've ever read. And that's exactly the point. So to see how they champion through and get through those trials. And then the second two books were my first attempt at nonfiction. So on my show, I open up with a mental meal every week, and that's just food for thought, stuff that I've learned through my course of 40 years.
Yeah.
And
Girl, yes, do that because
right.
these are right here, honey.
So you learn different things, and then the thing is once you learn it, to share it. So it's 2 books of mental meals. So I get the quote, and then I write my commentary and how it relates to me. And then the last 2 is a beginning of another series, and that is If I Had No Loot, which is a play off the Tony, Tony, Tony song, and then The Comfort Zone, which is a play off the Vanessa Williams cut from back in the day.
Nice.
If I Had No Loot chronicles 4 men trying to build a legal business in the city of Detroit during the time when we have been written off across the country. We had the whole bankruptcy thing,
Yeah.
the problems with our mayor and all our
That's
city
right.
government and everything like that. But people heard a lot of negativity about our city, but there's still people here working hard trying to build legitimate
right.
businesses. So you follow four men who didn't know each other prior, but through life happenstance had to come together and pool their resources to help each other. And then the comfort zone is the business that they create through coming together. And so now they got to get that to run because, things happen. They have one of the fellas, girl, didn't really know about the opening of the club. So, she wiles out on opening night, shows out there on the news, so it starts off.
Sounds like Miss April back in the day.
So,
I'm just kidding.
We're just giving some of that same real life, drama to pull everybody in. But the bigger premise is that, we still doing positive things in the city.
Yes. And so speaking of real life, and we actually have Miss Tracy's husband, her co-champion parent in the house. So if he don't mind us putting him on the spot for a minute, can you give us a quick shout out? or give Miss Tracy a quick shout out.
Oh, Lord.
How the ladies doing?
He said that's so smooth.
No, I'm just happy to be here in this environment with you ladies, and you guys are doing positive things, to highlight and spotlight each other. And it's always a myth about, if you got too many black women in one
tell
area,
me about it. Yes.
that there's going to be some drama. And that's not necessarily true.
Absolutely.
It's just based on the company you keep.
Yes.
So, I mean, I support my wife, 100%, because for the simple fact, we wouldn't have got this far in 25 years. We've been together for 25 years, but
Oh,
married for 20 years.
I just love them, y'all. They are beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
So I want to continue to, and I support you ladies, what you're doing, each one of you guys, because I come from the education world as well.
Yes. CSU, baby.
I'm telling you, we support. We're everywhere.
Yes, we're all, hold on, I'm sorry. Yes,
ahead.
we're all Central State University. Central State University.
The greatest kept secret in the Midwest, in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. But I was an educator, and still am, but because I'm working on my doctorate degree as well. But when I first moved to Detroit in 1999, I was with the Detroit Public Schools, and I moved around since then. But now I'm currently doing my own thing. But this is not about me. This is about you, ladies.
Well, it's about Champion Parent, and it's our village, and you guys are a part of Imani's village, as well as other students and young people who you affect positively. So we're all working village.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. Miss T. Lee, so I just want to get back because I know some of our listeners out there are thinking, okay, so if I'm going to do what works for me, where do I begin?
Well, here's the thing. Oh, I can hear me now. Okay, that's what's up. Oh, okay.
It kicked in for me too.
Yeah, and you see, I could keep it going. It didn't matter. I was like, they got me. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. The story that I love to tell with me and my husband is I have been sitting back and to give y'all the timeline, from the time of The Best Man, the first movie, right? Came out in like 99. It came out like the week we got married, okay? From then, which was in 99, all the way to Drumline in 2002, telling him, I want to write a book, I want to write a book, I want to write a book. And he was like, well, what's stopping you? Just sit down and start writing. And I was like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to call it. I don't know, who will buy it. I don't know if anybody will buy it. And he looked at me real serious. He was like, who buying it now? And I didn't have a snappy comeback, as I usually do, because he was right. Nobody was buying it. So he was like, at the end of the day, if you just sit down and start, he was like, if you don't like what you write in the beginning, you can always change it. It's your show. You can do whatever you want to. He was like, but until you start, you've already failed.
Yes.
And I have been riding that plane on every aspect of what has come behind me trying. I went to school I didn't go to school for education. I went to school for radio, TV. But because I had so many insecurities about myself at that time, I stopped myself for years. And it wasn't until I wrote my book, put it out myself, because I got one rejection letter and was like, and cried for 2 weeks and was like, okay, this cannot be the way. So I put it out myself, and because I put the book out myself, I got interviewed, and that place I got interviewed offered me a chance to do a show.
Oh, good.
And that was 7 Mile Radio, and that's how this whole whirlwind got started, you know.
Good. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that,
You
too.
said just start.
It just starts.
Start somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And don't get discouraged if something doesn't work out.
No,
I like that.
No, and matter of fact, today we did midday motivations, and what I said today is when you reach for your dream, expect to fail. Expect to fail, and the reason you have to expect to fail is because that's where the learning curve begins.
Yes.
That's where growth starts. When you first start to go out for your dreams, you don't know what's going to work. You don't know what's going to hit. You don't know what's going to fail. You have no idea. But after that first misstep or that first so-called failure, and you get up from it, you good to go, because then you're going back into it with a little more information than you had when it started.
Nice.
So
Then-
Powerful.
I'm sorry. I just
Okay,
got,
go ahead, go
I
ahead.
got another
Powerful.
question. So, when, as a parent, when you are going after your dreams and things aren't working out, what advice out there would you give our champion parents not to take that frustration out on their children,
You
or
know-
even their significant other?
Exactly, because that can be the challenge in and of itself. And you know, sometimes I have been so upset about a situation that I have to take maybe a 15-minute or a half hour, or maybe an hour, like to myself, just to get my own head right before I can even approach them to explain to them without any biases, you know, what's going on and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And then if I've suffered a defeat, what has helped me is something my grandmother told me a long time ago. It's like whenever you are feeling down or feeling defeated or have something going on that's so wrong in your world, reach out to your kids and hug them, because nobody loves you like your kids. So my daughter she can't even conceptualize how many times she's literally saved my spirit just with a hug, you know, because she might have been too young for me to even explain what was going on. Because, you know, my husband, as my husband said, we've been together for 25 years, and I wish I could tell you it was the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch all the way through, but it really wasn't. You know, we've lost things together, we've gained things together, we've left careers, we've changed careers, you know, and we've had to support each other. You know, this brother runs 3 businesses out of our home. I run 2. You know, and that was 25 years in the making. Because if somebody had told us in 95 when we got together that this was where it was going to end up, we'd be like, you tripping. No. So you just don't know. Once you go out for it, you have no idea the blessings that'll come your way.
And I just want to reiterate, Miss Tracy is a motivational speaker, and she is in here preaching to us today. Yes, very powerful words, and I like what you said about, because it's kind of like even our message when we talk about being a champion parent. When people hear the term champion parent, we've heard kind of the thing of, well, what makes you a champion parent? That's kind of an arrogant statement, and it's like, no, you know, because we consider ourselves champion parents because we know that we fall short, and we get overwhelmed. I've been insecure, you know, but you have to know and understand that your way is okay, and just the fact that you want to do better and you are constantly looking for ways to do better, you're trying.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's what makes you a champion parent.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, I like that. Thank you. I feel motivated. I feel inspired.
That's what's up. That's what's
Yeah,
that's
I agree, and I echo the same sentiment, because I was going through a lot at work, and I just went home, and when I say I just grabbed my children and I hugged them, it actually made me feel better. Don't you know how sometimes you hear like simple advice, and it's like, oh, that's not gonna make me feel better, but until you
actually
try it,
yes.
and then like you said, Miss T. Elise, until you start, you don't know how it's going to end up or how it's going to make you feel.
You have no clue. You have no clue, and that's kind of the hook on the beat, so to speak. Because if we did know what came after we started, a lot of us still probably wouldn't start for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? We find another reason to run away for it. I just decided to get out of my own way.
Yes, and I like that, Michael. It's like, Lisa, get it together. You gonna call him Mike or Michael? But I like what Michael said to you when that support system is just beautiful. But I like when you said, well, who's gonna buy my book? And like, well, who buying it
Who
now?
buying it now?
You know, so it
and-
doesn't hurt to try.
And that's the other thing. If you create it, people will come.
Yes.
The crazy part is you have to get used to off the bat is knowing that the support is going to come. Don't look down on it because it doesn't come wrapped in the package you were expecting.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
the difference, because you're going to expect certain people. You like, I know this person going to
Yes.
support me, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And when it all comes down, you may still get a great deal of support, but it may not come from that one person or that set of friends or
That's
whatever.
right.
And, I've learned over the years, you just saying no, that just means not right now.
Yeah.
You see me, you don't see me now, you see me later. Because I won't stop. So, you can either
Girl,
choose
that
to
sound like
support
a
me
rapper.
now or support me later on.
Yeah, very important
I
gold
like that.
nuggets, good nuggets.
Yes.
So compromise.
See me later.
When you hear the word compromise and thinking about raising children, family, what comes to mind when you hear that?
What comes to mind for me, a distinct moment of when I knew I had to compromise something in my career is when my partner and I, shout out to Adria Robbins, we were doing the Live
Hey,
Ladies of
Adria.
Literature. When we were doing the Live Ladies of Literature, and we were doing the Mocha monologues, and it was 3, monologue series back to back. We did something like 3 shows in 6 months. I mean, we was going, we was popping, we was hot like Jerry Maguire. But after the 3rd show, I remember telling her, like, sis, I got to take a break because I got a preteen at the house, and I got to make sure, because we, auditions and rehearsals and planning and promoting and all those things took me away from home for a minute. And I had my mom and my husband to help me raise her, but, at some point, I'm a mommy first.
Yeah.
And so I had to just tell her, like, sis, I got to take these next couple months through the summer and just check up on her, And so that was one time when I really had to just step in and be like, okay, I got to step away from this. Although it's making a nice little thing of money and it's fun and it's great, I got to step away from this to check back in with my daughter because I do not want to lose her because I'm not doing Maury, I'm not doing child boot camp, I'm not doing any of that. So I would go check in right now. So that was one time I know for specifically that I had to kind of put what I was doing on the back burner to be mommy first.
Yes. There are times you have to step back
it is.
and make sacrifices.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Compromise and sacrifice. And I like how you said you're a mom first.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the best thing I ever did. The second thing was, marrying my child's sweetheart. We did it out of order, but we still got it together in
It's
the end.
okay. You arrived. You arrived, and you're
Central,
here.
Central got me a lot of stuff, not just a degree, but I got the husband, I got the baby. It's full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
I
And it
like
actually
that.
was the first school that put my books in the library system in Ohio because I dedicated my books to the library, hoping that they would put them in rotation, in circulation, so the kids could rent them. But what wound up happening is that they archived them with the history of the school because I dedicated the entire series to the university.
Nice.
That
So
is
nice.
again, that's how
nice.
Central State, that's how those HBCUs take care of you.
Yeah.
It's really gone by quick. Yeah. So, Miss Tracy, we appreciate you for being here. Michael, we appreciate you being here as well. Any final thoughts for the listeners?
I just want to tell people you can look up my books
Yes,
on
you're
Amazon, definitely. And then I have an event coming up, my first event in Detroit in 4 years. It is listen, y'all, it's a Pamper Yourself book signing broadcast. So I'm doing a live broadcast of my show from BU to Foskin, You Love Beauty Bar, and we're doing games, interactive music stuff, and then I have a Pamper Me vendor station. So that way, Silky Soul Essentials is doing body butter, craft designs is doing home decor and scented candles. And then I have an Avon representative that'll be on site passing out her information and stuff. So, because some of y'all look for the skin so soft and all that.
Yeah.
So, we just going to have a good time. And tickets are $20. You get a book. The book is included. And then, I have games, prizes, fun, and there's always wine on deck.
Hello.
So that's an event on Eventbrite. So you just go to Eventbrite, look up B-Side Nights. It's May 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Wait, how do you
listeners-
spell B-side night?
You're right. BCYDE, because we dare to be different. So CYDE is how we spell B-side, and just regular nights. and you'll find the event, and you can support it there. And I thank you guys in advance, and thank you for having me.
Sounds good.
Thank
Now,
you.
y'all, Mommy Talk got to come on the B-side.
Oh, we're
Any
ready.
Saturday
We're
y'all
ready.
want, just let me know. I will lock it in, you know.
Yes. Yeah,
'cause we
well, we're
support.
ready, and we're actually going to list the events. We can list it on our social media pages.
Okay.
The social media pages, we'll list it on the website.
Okay.
So, again, callers, thank you for tuning in, or listeners, thank you for tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure, and we appreciate your support. Please remember to check out the always on top and updated website, www.mommietalk.com. Until next week.
Thank you so much for being here, Miss T. Elise.
Thank you for having me,
Yes.
ladies.